Hi guys and welcome to another FIFA 22 video, and today guys I'm going to be running you through my ones to watch predictions for FIFA 22, which of course is the major promo that starts every single year nowadays when the new FIFA does come out. And we've got 23 players to get through, so I'm going to have to try and keep them short and sweet for every single player that we get into. But as we know, a lot of the European leagues are going to be starting up this weekend, next weekend, and just in general in the coming next couple of weeks. We've got the French League starting this weekend, the Premier League and the Bundesliga go up and running the following weekend, and then also not too long away from both the likes of the Serie A and the Liga starting up as well. And a lot of teams are trying to make sure they can get all their signings in ideally before the start of their seasons. So a lot of transfers already been done. And I think one to watch, this is going to be its best every year because there's been absolutely a lot of insane signings. There's two players I think in the two that haven't fully signed for the club yet, but they are going to sign for the clubs that they've been linked with, only if a medical fails, which is very, very rare that a medical is ever unsuccessful. But let's get straight into this video. Also, there's been a massive change in the setup and stuff like that, so expect to see videos as well for FIFA 22, pretty much going back mainly to just reviews, not kind of like daily content, like covering and stuff like that. That's going to be gone from FIFA 22. It's going to be focusing on reviews, certain pack types that we get, and obviously prediction videos like this as well. So as you can see, like a different background, like they're like Formula 1 stuff and all that. But anyway, let's get into the first player. So of course, Lionel Messi has been at the biggest transfer news over the past few days. Fabrizio Romano on Twitter has already been saying that he's very much open to joining PSG. They've already opened up contracts. Apparently, a lot of things have already been agreed in place, such as wages for Messi, a 2-year contract with the option to stay on further on from 2024. We'll have to wait and see whether he does that or not. But a lot of things have already been put in place, like 35 million, I think, a year in terms of wages and like other things as well to kind of go with it. So literally only a medical failure will mean the reason why he doesn't join PSG. And as I said before, medical failures very rarely happen nowadays. So in terms of the ratings, I've gone with what I think their FIFA 22 base ratings will be, but do not pay attention to the individual stats. So 93 rated for him. I want him at the start of FIFA 22 because think of how many upgrades he's going to get in a league where I think he'll do very, very well. I've got to be honest. There's no reason why he shouldn't. But anyway, next player, Jack Grealish, 85 rated. I think he'll get a nice big increase for his massive move to Manchester City. Did very well at the Euros and just in general with Aston Villa last season. Will he be as a left wing or maybe as a cam? I'm not too sure, but he should get into one to watch. Of course, Harry Kane, I don't actually know if that deal is actually going to even go through for him to City. If it is going to go through, it's going to be towards the very, very end of the transfer window. But Grealish, I think, has got enough to get himself into one to watch. The next player is going to be Jadon Sancho. Of course, that big move from Dortmund to Manchester United, I think also in his appearances, not so much for England, but certainly for Dortmund last season, have certainly warranted him an upgrade to an 88 rated, and I think it's going to be a card that he will, I feel he will do pretty well in the Premier League. Maybe not quite as well as his past couple of seasons in Dortmund, but I think, you know, it's only going to be a little bit of time before he does kind of, you know, hit the ground running and stuff like that. It shouldn't take too long for him. AGUERO is an 87 rated. I think he will get a reduction of 2 ratings for the start of FIFA 22. That's just kind of purely down to, you know, a lack of playing time, his age now and stuff like that as well. But he's still going to be a quality player. Nice signing for Barcelona, so I think he'll get in there. And then also Memphis Depay, another free signing for Barcelona. Of course, they're going to be losing Messi for next season, but they got in 2 fantastic acquisitions in AGUERO and Depay. Proven goal scorers. Depay's been fantastic for both the Netherlands and for Olympique Lyonnais in the past couple of seasons since his departure from Man United. I think he'll get an upgrade as well for FIFA 22. So a nice 86 rated card for him. Then we've got Sergio Ramos. PSG are going to have quite a few one-to-watch cards. Now, we saw back in FIFA 21 that Chelsea had 3 one-to-watch cards. So there are some clubs that do like major business. You know, it's not like only one club will have one representative, because Chelsea had Ziyech, Werner, and Kai Havertz at the start of FIFA 21. So expect something similar from PSG. The 4 contenders for that are going to obviously be Messi, Ramos, Donnarumma, and Wijnaldum. I think one of those players will miss out, and you'll find the player in this video does miss out from this. But Messi and Ramos, I think, will both get in there. I do think he'll get a reduction to an 88 rated, but even so, I still think it'd be a very, very good card for Ligue 1. David Alaba, of course, 84 rated. I think he'll retain his normal racing for FIFA FIFA 21. Of course, going to Real Madrid should be a very, very good signing for them. Basically, as the replacement for Ramos. He's quite a few years younger than him. I think he'll do very well there for them. Then we have Gonzalez. Of course, EA are going to throw in a few of the lower rated players for one to watch. And we got a big move actually from Stuttgart over to Fiorentina. It was well over £20 million that he joined them for. Quite a few goals in his past couple of seasons with Stuttgart as well in the Bundesliga. Certainly did pretty well for them last season. So he's earned to move to Fiorentina to try and kind of get them back up into a European contending team once again, and I think he could be a player to watch out for in that league. Donnarumma is the third and final player for PSG, so I think it will be Wijnaldum that will miss out. I think Donnarumma will get in there. We didn't have any goalkeepers last year in one to watch, but we have seen goalkeepers before in one to watch. For example, when Alisson joined Liverpool, he was given a one to watch card, and obviously because he was such a really, really good up and coming goalkeeper. And that's the same with Donnarumma. He's been fantastic for Milan the past few seasons. He was I think player of the tournament at Euro 2020 as well. Didn't deserve to be. I mean, he had a good tournament, but I think there were better players than him in my personal opinion. But anyway, he was given the player of the tournament. Of course, Italy won the Euro final. He was good, to be fair, in 2 penalty shootouts, both against England and I think against Spain as well in the semi-finals. That big move now, of course, to PSG on a free deal, but I think it's going to be enough for him to get himself a ones to watch card. Junior Firpo, of course, the former Barcelona player, has just joined Leeds United for £15 million. Decent signing for them, and it's the only real fallback that I think has a major chance of actually getting into this. That's why I've gone with him. Then we have Yaramchuk, of course, very good with Gens last season in the Belgium League. Scored a few goals as well for Ukraine in the Euros. I think it was either 2 or 3 goals that he scored to. It's a decent little tournament. He's going to move to Benfica. As I said before, we're going to have to see some low-rated players because, yes, there's going to be a lot of top players, but obviously when it comes to those guaranteed ones to watch packs and just the promo in general, EA will want to make sure that a few low-rated players for ones to watch are also going to be available just to kind of balance it out a little bit more. But in a league like in a league for the Portuguese league, I think he can perform very well. I think if he was to get a once to watch card, quite a few upgrades would come his way. There's no reason why upgrades shouldn't come his way because I think he could do very well for Benfica, and Benfica are in need of a new big striker. They've lacked one for a couple seasons now. Marlen has joined Dortmund from PSV. Missed a great chance. I remember one of the Euros games for the Netherlands. I think it was against the Czech Republic in a game that they ultimately lost, but his performances for PSV over the past season have been very, very good. He's got that move to Dortmund. He could be the future because potentially Haaland might go, potentially next summer or whatever. Of course, we saw Sancho go, so they need a new big attacking player. Donny Marlon could potentially be that player for them. Varane, agreements between Real Madrid and Manchester United have already taken place. That's fine. The only thing that's kind of stopping this deal from going through at the moment is passing a medical. And as I said before, the medical should be able to go through, so Varane should be able to get signed, and I think very much could be included in ones to watch. Then we have Romero, who joined Spurs for over £50 million, I believe, from Atalanta. An 80 rated card gone for him, so quite a nice upgrade, and the 74 rated silver card from last year. Got a team season with Atalanta as well. I think we get a nice upgrade to up to around about an 80 rated card for Spurs this season. A good signing for them. Then I go with Leon Bailey from Aston Villa, of course, got that move from Leverkusen a few days ago. I think he get like a slight upgrade as well. He was in team season for Bundesliga last year, and I think he's done pretty well. Leverkusen in general have done relatively well the past season or so. He's been pretty much at the forefront of that for them, so I think an upgrade and obviously an inclusion in ones to watch could very, very well happen for him. Then we've got Rodrigo de Paul, who has joined Atletico Madrid from Udinese. Had a very good season with Udinese last season. I think he got quite a nice upgrade as well, from like a 77 rated up to an 81 rated, or it's like a 78 to an 81 or something like that. Ultimately, I think he'll get an overall plus upgrade going into FIFA 22. And there hasn't been too many central players that have had massive moves to some of Europeans, top clubs. But Rodrigo de Paul is an exception to that. A lot of the big moves so far this season have either come from strikers, wide players, or central defenders, not too much in the centre part of the midfield. But Rodrigo de Paul has been one of those players, and so I think based on that, we will see him as an inclusion into ones to watch. Then we've gone with Andre Silva, who got that move from Eintracht Frankfurt over to Leipzig. Of course, Leipzig have had their whole squad pretty much taken apart from them the past couple of seasons, so he could be a very good new signing for them. Upamecano, of course, joining Bayern Munich from Leipzig, so he's going to be a nice acquisition for them, basically to kind of replace David Alaba. I've gone with an 80 rated card for him for his potential inclusion into ones to watch. We're up to 19 now. Çalhanoğlu has gone from AC to Inter Milan. This is a player that kind of a few years ago he was a real top performer. I can't remember who he was playing for a few years ago, but then he kind of just went off the radar completely, but last season he really found form with AC Milan and has been given a move now, a controversial move to Inter Milan, but an 81 rate have gone for him as an upgrade on his card from last year. Could be a pretty decent card. And then I've gone with, I think it's Samora, I believe his name is. He has joined Leicester City from Lille for well over £20 million. Of course, Lille won the title last season. He was a good player for them last season. Now he's gone to Leicester City. Maybe a potential new Kante. We'll have to wait and see. So, a nice move for them and a potential inclusion there. 21 is going to be Buendia, who got that move from Norwich City over to Aston Villa. Of course, Leon Bailey and Buendia are pretty much seen as kind of replacements for the likes of Jack Grealish and stuff like that. Their acquisitions have been very good. Both him, Leon Bailey, and Danny Ings actually, and having people like Ollie Watkins, McGinn still at the club. I know that they've lost Jack Grealish, but they've actually made quite a few decent signings, and they haven't left it too late in the window. So I think Aston Villa will do pretty good still next season, despite losing Jack Grealish. On to the penultimate player. It's going to be Felipe Anderson, who has gone from West Ham back over to Lazio for just over £3 million. Has the potential chance to get included in ones to watch. And then we finish with Romelu Lukaku. It's looking very likely now that he will be going to his former club Chelsea from many years ago, where he was never really given a chance. So it looks like Lukaku is going to be going there. Chelsea were potentially being linked with Messi as well over the past couple of days, but it looks like their main focus is now on Lukaku, and it looks very much like that move is going to go